Wherefore art thou, Spencer?
My house.
I don't know, other Shakespeare stuff.
Other Shakespeare stuff.
I am not a member of the Improvised Shakespeare Company. Shout out to the Improvised Shakespeare Company. They're absolutely hilarious. They literally do Shakespeare, but improvised, and it's genuinely incredible.
That's awesome.
Anyways, Macbeth and the tragedy of Macbeth.
Yes, we're talking about two movies. This is the closest I think we've come to my dream of giving like three, like Greta Gerwig, Steven Spielberg, and like Jordan Peele, all the same script that they can't change, and just seeing what movie they make out of it.
Yeah.
This is that. This is the closest we've come to that.
Yeah.
So this is fun. This was your idea, and it was a very good idea.
Yeah, this is so I went and saw Macbeth from 2015 a few years ago at a collaborator's request, and I watched it and I was like, all right, I understand why they wanted me to watch this. And then in 2021, The Tragedy of Macbeth came out, and I was like, this looks like my shit.
Yeah.
And so I went and saw it in the theater. There weren't all that many screenings of it, but I went and saw it in the theater. Shout out to Joel Cohen post Cohen Brothers breakup.
Yeah, question mark.
I'm not sure if they're back together yet.
I don't think they are. I think it's still a hiatus is probably the best way to put it. I think they will for sure be making movies together again at some point.
Yeah, well, I think that'll be like a B or C segment where we'll talk a little bit more about the Cohen brothers and other sibling hiatus breakup situations. So to give me a little bit of your history with Shakespeare and other Shakespeare movies and adaptations and things like that. Where are you coming from?
So this is where I'm going to get maybe put on blast a little bit. I famously do not really care for Shakespeare. I totally get it. I understand it. Part of this stems from that like high school thing where you have to read them and you have to annotate them and you have to write a paper on them. So like I was frustrated with the concentration of Shakespeare I had for like a year when I was like, there has to be other better things we can be studying, right? Like, but in terms of like adaptations I've seen a bunch. I've seen other. I just hadn't seen these two Macbeth movies, but I've seen other adaptations of Macbeth. I was in middle school. I was in the play the Comedy of Errors, which I still to this day think is a very funny show. Yeah. I loathe Romeo and Juliet. Like I loathe Romeo. Like to the point. There was a movie recently. I was trying to remember what it was. Because you really like it, and I was frustrated by it.
West Side Story.
West Side Story, yes, thank you. Because it's just Romeo and Juliet, and that's my own hang-up. That movie is incredibly directed and looks incredible, and I need to get over my hang-ups. It also didn't help that I saw that in a theater completely alone.
The original West Side Story will be an episode. Like, that will be an episode.
I can't wait. So I'm kind of a certified Shakespeare hater.
Yeah.
However, I do like the movie Throne of Blood is an adaptation of Macbeth, and I love Throne of Blood. So but that movie does. I don't know. So these were an interesting one for me. I know I've seen other. I have not seen like the Baz Luhrmann Romeo and Juliet. I've seen
plus Juliet.
I saw like chunks of it in that English class in high school where we were like studying Romeo and Juliet. So I don't know. I'm a bit of a certified Romeo and Juliet hater, but I did really, really enjoy both of these movies. So that's a good thing. Very specifically, and this will, I think, be a lot of, because what are you and I going to add to talking about like Macbeth as a story?
This is a conversation about the filmmaking more
which
than it is about
the part
story.
that made me like really lean in on both of these movies. Is the filmmaking and is the choices, which is I think going to be the theme of the episode. Is just choices in storytelling.
Yes.
What about you? Are you a Shakespeare guy? I don't know if we've ever really talked about this.
So I am not a Shakespeare hater by any stretch of the imagination. In high school, undiagnosed ADHD. Let's start there. Undiagnosed ADHD throughout school. And so like the idea of sitting down and reading a Shakespeare play front to back made me want to pull my eyes out. And so like the things that I like obviously respect, but also the things that made it really tough for me when I was younger was like the sheer depth of the prose. Like every line is a double or triple entendre, is difficult when you can't even get the first entendre, when you're struggling to understand the context, let alone the subtext.
For sure.
And so I struggled with it in high school. There's a moment when I did theater in high school. We did A Midsummer Night's Dream. And when we were auditioning for the show, I told my director at the time, I was like, oh, I am not good with Shakespeare. I'm not going to do well. And she was like, I'm sure you'll do better than you think you will. And then I went and auditioned. And after the audition, she was like, yeah, you're not very good at Shakespeare. And I was like, damn, thanks. Appreciate it. Really, really sweet of you to say. True. She wasn't wrong, but I was also 17. So I have had a deep respect, but maybe not like as deep of an appreciation of Shakespeare as I want to. That being said, like I several of the Shakespeare adaptations that I've seen, I absolutely adore. These being two of those, both West Side Stories, I think are phenomenal, as well as a plethora of others. I think the reason I wanted to do these two is because they are just they're the same story with completely polar opposite decisions from front to back.
Yes.
And so I just thought that this was a fascinating case study, and exactly like what you said of like, if you gave two directors the exact same script, how would that are also completely different from each other, how would they interpret it and change it, and what would they do with it? And I think this is a perfect distillation of that thought. So I mean,
the interesting thing, like the similarities, right? The similarities and the vast differences, because like the similarities really kind of begin and end with the text.
Yeah,
they're both very reverent to the text.
Yeah,
obviously both kind of making small adjustments and changes and cutting things, but for the most part, they're like the same script.
Yeah.
In terms of what happens when it happens. Neither of them play with the structure of Macbeth, really. To my knowledge.
The 2015 one plays with it a little bit. It adds some stuff, and it cuts a lot. There's a lot that got cut. It adds the battle,
right? Like the battle's not really part of Macbeth traditionally. It kind of starts more traditionally how the Coen brothers ones, the Coen brother singular one starts.
The Joel Coen's is really, really accurate. It's very, very similar. The only change is it doesn't cut much. The only thing that it does change is some verb tenses and things like that when talking about the Macbeths, and like, because traditionally they're younger, they're not this old as Frances McDormand and Denzel Washington are, and so there's some like verb tense changes here and there to like fit the age, but overall, like Joel Coen's adaptation of the script is incredibly accurate, or not accurate, but incredibly close. Where I think I'm not going to remember his name, Justin Kurzel, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know that I've seen another one of his movies. I might have, but
did you see the Assassin's Creed movie with Michael Fassbender?
Oh crap, I did see that this year actually.
You know, the funny thing is, it's like the same crew.
Really?
Yes, it's the same DP. I'm not sure if it's the same editor. It's Justin Kurzel. Like and I'm pretty sure they did this, and then they did the Assassin's Creed movie.
That's kind of tragic to find out,
right? Is that not so weird?
It's genuinely shocking to find out.
Yeah,
wild. Well, yeah, okay. That's good to know that they changed a little bit. It's been a long time since I've read Macbeth, so. But good to know they changed some stuff for the 2015 one. You saw that one first, correct?
Yeah. I saw that one 6 or 7 years ago, probably, for the first time.
So, something I did appreciate about that one is, while it is a very like grounded take, it is also got its own level of surrealness. You know, like of kind of heightened. It's in both good ways and bad ways. Like I think something that I didn't love the handling of like the old women, the wild or the strange women as they put it, like in that one nearly as much as I liked it in The Tragedy of Macbeth.
Yeah, man.
Like they're a little bland in the 2015 one, which is I think it fits what the movie's doing much more. It'd be odd if that was the one part that was just really magical.
Yeah. Let's stick with let's stick with the 2015 one for a minute. Like what was your overall thoughts on that one? Like how did you feel? Like what stood out?
A lot of mumbling. There was a lot of mumbling.
Yeah.
I feel like I should have put subtitles on, but it was like, it's Macbeth. I know where we're going and what we're doing.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Visual feast. Like it visually is gorgeous.
Yeah.
The battles are really interesting and they have a good energy to them in a weird way. You know, I think they do a pretty good job of making crowds of very few people feel a little bit bigger. Like there's a couple times where you're like, okay, there's like 7 people here. Yeah. And then there are other shots where I was like, okay, I believe this is like a war, you know, like they do a pretty good job of that. I like the music a ton. The score in that one is really good.
Yeah.
I like Fassbender in the role a lot. And I think that's maybe the place to start with this one is Shakespeare so often doesn't feel human. You know, when Shakespeare's performed, it feels very like melodrama, which is what it is. It's a melodrama. But Fassbender plays it with such authenticity and such honesty. Like specifically, it's that scene where he's talking about having scorpions in his head. Yeah. And you see that, like, you're like, oh, this man is cracking. Yeah. And like in a way that I haven't seen a ton before of when people do Macbeth, where they usually play him a bit more melodramatic and a bit more stoic for most of it. And he plays
so
it like
quiet.
Yeah, he's brimming and boiling and quiet. He's really good in the role.
Yeah.
Which Fassbender is a great actor, a kind of not great person, I'm sure, based on all accounts. But
this is not a tacit endorsement of his off-screen behavior.
Yeah, this is just talking about this movie. So I really enjoyed a lot of this movie. Again, the Macbethness, the Shakespeareness of it, like hinders it slightly for me in that I just don't care.
Yeah.
But I do like this movie. I think this is a really cool movie.
As far as the characters, like are you from a story perspective, like, all right, writ large, maybe not between these two movies, but writ large, like for the Macbeth story, are you following the characters? Are you interested in what they're doing? Like, where do you stand on that from like a story perspective?
I think they're all good. I would never say they're bad characters. That would get me kicked off of talking about things forever, I think. Unless it's Shakespeare. Or unless it's Romeo and Juliet, I mean. Because then I don't care about those characters at all. I think they're good characters. Like I said, I like the portrayal of Macbeth in this. I think, what's his friend's name? Macduff?
Yeah, or...
the one he kills. Like, I think that's
he kills like 3 guys. So,
the friend, and he tries to kill the son, and it's...
Oh, that's... oh my God, I can... Keep going, keep talking.
Anyway, I like that character. I find a lot of like tragedy in. Like, I think he's interesting. The relationship of the Macbeths I do find interesting. Again, it's kind of just one of those like, okay, so it's one of these stories wherein the person writes their own... I don't know, you know? Not to be this guy.
Not to be this guy, is this guy.
Is this guy, for sure. But again, that is something I did appreciate about the movie as a whole, is every actor was a bit more human. They played it with a bit more humanity, with a bit more like apprehension and fear, and, you know, I don't know. Shakespeare. What am I going to add to Shakespeare?
Well, yeah, I'm just interested, you know, because Banquo is his name. I am not nearly as out on some of the storytelling and some of the character work as you are. I think, like, obviously, like, we're painting with pretty broad brushes here, like very much a story of envy and of betrayal and like I think there's like a lot of similarities between this and a story like Dune, where it's like the prophecy is the thing that is the corruptor. You know what I mean? had that never been placed in front of him, had that never been an idea of something he could take, he would never be that guy. You know, he talks about him being trustworthy and being a good person up until that point, and he doesn't want to just like idly throw that away. But both Lady Macbeth and Macbeth still have that kind of burning desire,
that
ambition.
It's like a dangerous ambition movie, you know?
Yeah, which I think is interesting. I mean, like, I think it's like the template for so many stories similar to it after the fact.
Don't mistake it. It is a good story. It is a good template. It is a good driving force. And I think Dune is a great comparison. And Dune is a great comparison that does different things with the model. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like Dune is there playing with the idea of somebody who doesn't want to take it, who does everything he can not to take it, and yet he's forced to.
Yeah.
Forced to, quote unquote. You know, he had choices.
Yeah.
So I do think that is an interesting, like, what has been done with that model is just as interesting as the model itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, like, trust me. I think this is a good story. I'm not going to sit here and go, Macbeth is bad. The only one I'm going to go outright as bad is Romeo and Juliet. I don't care about Romeo and Juliet at all. Sorry, everyone, but
sorry,
me.
any person who likes any Romeo and Juliet story. I like you said, like, visually, I think this movie is absolutely incredible.
Yes.
Like, one thing that I thought was funny that I was like in some research just to see like some talking points that people had been talking about, you know, kind of maybe if there's been comparisons between these two movies, because I think these are like probably the two most famous Macbeths in recent memory over the past,
in a long time.
20 years or so. One article that I saw that I thought was really funny, that because I completely disagreed with it, where it described the tragedy of Macbeth as very like theatrical and very, which is true, but the 2015 Macbeth as very realistic and there's a lot of I'm like, this movie, I think there's realism in the way that they're like, it isn't the proscenium of the tragedy of Macbeth, but like, it is very surreal. It's very painterly. It is not going for.
It's
complete
almost
realism.
like it's a realistic world told in a surrealistic way.
Yeah.
Whereas the tragedy of Macbeth is a surrealistic world told in a surrealistic way. That's kind of how I would describe it. Because like that was the thing that really, from the beginning of the 2015 one, is very like, you're like, oh, okay, so they're gonna like randomly cut to shots with entirely different color palettes, and like have that be a moment, you know, and they're gonna randomly do that kind of thing. The slow motion and the way they choose to edit and cut around, like all of that is very, like, calling it straight up surrealist is not right, but it does have some surrealism going.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
It's not doing David Lynch. It's not doing that. But it is definitely not a grounded, realistic movie. Like,
no.
I agree. That's not what that is.
I mean, specifically from like an editing point of view, you know what I mean? Like these soliloquies where Macbeth is like fighting with himself and it's cutting through time, you know, everything going on with, you know, the complete addition of his son of the, you know, this dead son that like is not a part of the show. Yeah. Adding that in there, everything that they're doing with him, I think is an incredibly, like, again, we're not talking about realism there. Again, especially with like when we're talking about the editing, where we're like, even there's like jump cuts and things like that between him mid soliloquy, where he's like, you know, head up against the wall, and then it cuts again, and he's barreling the camera, continuing his soliloquy. I think is an interesting. Because again, like you said, like the world feels so much more grounded and so much more realistic, but then it's like in those choices, those editing choices, and those like staging choices that
it's
that
the lens they put on it. Yeah. Which is a great choice, I think. Like, legitimately makes the movie far more memorable to me than it would be if it was just really grounded and really realistic and really period accurate or whatever. Yeah, it's like I like that it chose to, you know, it's make the interesting choice. Sometimes the big choice is the best choice, and I think that is where people run into trouble a lot. But I think this movie uses that really well. You know, like you and I talk a lot about like the film school, the film student thing is to do the coolest thing you can do instead of the best thing you can do. And this is like a good counterpoint to that of like the slow motion works. You know what I mean? Like if it could have done, I'm trying to think, it could have done like The Last Duel, where The Last Duel's fights are really scattered and it's just people smashing into each other and then violence. Like, it could have done that, and instead it chooses to go, no, this is a moment. This is a moment. This is a moment. You need to watch this play out. But I do think you're exactly right. It's the editing mostly for me. The editing and then some of the lighting choices really stuck out.
Yeah.
Like, again, it's like when it will randomly cut and it's all of a sudden like red everywhere.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting. Oh, I want to talk about the end confrontation, that end fight.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Between
necessarily
him and Macduff.
Yes, Macduff. Thank you. That's who Macduff is. Yeah. The specifically the usage of the people witnessing it.
Yeah.
I thought was really like horror movie-esque.
I love that.
I love it. I think it's super, like, because they feel like they're like zombies ambling about watching this conflict. And I was like, that's really an interesting choice to have it be like that with all this smoke and this red light that's coming from who knows where. Like, I just thought that was such a good choice, is having because the tragedy of Macbeth does not do that. It has those last two confrontations are very personal.
Yeah.
Which is a great choice for that movie. It's very different. But I just really liked those shots cutting to them. It's like feels like a genre movie for a second in a really cool way that I really like.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. That's what makes this movie memorable to me, is those like weird, unique, quirky choices.
Yeah, I think so many of the choices that we're talking about like really serves to like put you in the head of Macbeth in a way that the tragedy of Macbeth is a little bit more like, this is the more omniscient, like this is the story that is being told, like this is this was always meant to be, where I think Macbeth really like puts you in his shoes, shows you as he is starting to crack, really emphasizes the turmoil within, and again, like it's so like kind of like Terrence Malick coded in
That's
the
a good way to put it.
Whispering straight to camera, voiceovers over some of the most beautiful cinematography of all time. This is very, very, very in the vein of a Terrence Malick film, which I think is fascinating because Michael Fassbender has done Terrence Malick film.
Yes.
And so, I think the score, I think the score is the one thing that you touched on. It's fascinating how much of this movie is absolutely littered with score. Like there's so few moments that have absolute quiet. Yeah. Like there's always a cello or a violin or a drum beat, and I don't mean that to diminish anything. It really adds a layer of tone and propulsion at moments and fear and tension at moments where I think the tragedy of Macbeth is a lot more sparse in that department. I think it's fascinating just how much score, even though it isn't like a full orchestra the entire time, just how much of the music is layered, or just how much of the movie is layered with music.
Yeah. I totally agree. It's a cool choice. It's a good choice.
Yeah.
I also think the other one not having it, with it being like the 4-3 and all, like I think it shows that kind of specifically because it feels like it should have. You know what I mean? And they went, no, we're going to go against that. We're using all these other old school filmmaking style choices. Yeah. We're going to go against that idea and really play a lot quietly. Yeah. Or a lot with just like sound design. Mm-hmm. I think that's also a good choice for that movie. Again, both of these movies made the right choices for what they were doing.
Yeah.
Even if they were a bit outside the box, like they were smart in that way. Again, choices in filmmaking. Storytelling is just a series of thousands and thousands of choices. Yeah. And I appreciate that both of these movies weren't afraid to be bold. You know, like. Again, with the battle scenes being so filmmaky in the tragedy of Macbeth, it like telegraphs right, or in Macbeth, I mean, it telegraphs right away that this is a movie that is going to make like surreal. It's going to be big. It's going to be odd. It's going to, like you said, jump cuts and things like that. Like it's not going to just. I'm trying to think of an equivalent of a movie that I saw like that is like a period piece like this that does play it incredibly straight without like big filmmaking and things like that. Because like Gladiator does the same thing.
Yeah.
You look at Gladiator, and Gladiator could have been a way more straight across the plate. But that movie uses surreal moments.
Yeah.
It uses filmmaking to telegraph action storytelling. Like it's I'm trying to think of one that's like plays it really straight, but those aren't generally that memorable, I don't think. So I can't remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good movie. I like this one.
What did you think about the relationship between Macbeth and Lady Macbeth? In specifically in the 25th, they have a much more like strained relationship. Like there is not a lot of kindness between those two. What did you think about that decision in the 2015 one?
I thought it was good. It definitely feels more like she pushed him to do it in this one than it does in maybe other Macbeths, and specifically the Tragedy of Macbeth.
Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting choice. However, I don't know if I know that I don't know that if I love that choice as much, because then it does feel like have sympathy for Macbeth but not for Lady Macbeth, and that's a bit weird. Wherein it's like I do appreciate that they're in bed in this together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I like that angle on it.
Yeah. I mean that's a really popular take that Lady Macbeth is maybe even almost an extension of the Weird Women in the way that like she is also part of that corrupting element of she has this moment of I mean she even has her own soliloquy where she talks about unsex me, like fill my heart with, I can't remember the exact word, where she's essentially just saying like strip all the humanity from me so we can achieve this dark goal. So it's a very, very popular, very, very often that is the kind of the take that they go with, where Lady Macbeth is very much, if not more, of the corrupting element outside of his own jealousy. That's not the right word I'm looking for. Ambition. Thank you. That was the word I was looking for. His own ambition. It takes her like full-throated, like, no, you're gonna do this, we're gonna do this.
Again, that is a great, it's legitimately a very fascinating take. This is me looking at it with 2025 classes.
Oh,
of like,
for sure.
Men always get this sympathy for this BS that they, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's definitely that brain that's making me say that. Not to invalidate that choice in any way. I think it's a good choice.
Yeah.
It makes sense to do. I just also think it's really fascinating when they're in bed in it together, very much so,
Yeah.
Like, I think that's an interesting place to start. Anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's... I think they couldn't have found anybody better than Marianne Cotillard to be...
That's so true, yeah.
To be the corrupting element in this. She's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's great, yeah.
Casting across the board in both of these, I think, is absolutely phenomenal.
In the Tragedy of Macbeth, about 10 minutes in, I was like, there are a lot of voices in this movie. Like a lot of very iconic voices in that movie.
Yeah.
In a great way, in a way that I thought was super fun.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to do Shakespeare, it's so much about the words.
Yeah.
Like, get the people who can deliver the words. Like, I liked that.
And then what did you think about the choice to add the battle at the beginning with his son, add that kind of context in there that, I don't... As far as it's not in the original play, I don't know if that's a common element that gets added.
Yeah.
In other adaptations, but like from the jump, like you can tell there's already a strained relationship between him and the king. Like he already has, like his son died for this seemingly like useless battle, like adding that element of the son in there, I think gives that much more of a reason for him to get pushed over the edge into doing this. What were your thoughts on that?
I really like it. I specifically love the moment when he's literally using leather to tie the son's sword to his hand.
Yeah.
So he doesn't drop it. That's so cold and callous and like it's fucking scary. Like, I really like that moment. In terms of like, I think it works. I don't know that it's like, I don't know that I have like a hot take on it or a big grand like I think this is a better take or it's a worse take.
Yeah.
Like I think there are obvious parallels to draw for the king specifically, him being, but I also do like the idea of a story where a guy it doesn't have a reason to hate the king necessarily, other than the fact that he's had to be at war for this man.
Yeah.
But it's all internal. The reason he's wanting he ends up killing him. It's all ambition and fear and exactly you said the prophecy is the thing that kills.
Yeah.
It's like I do like that as a take too. I think that's a really fascinating idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't have a great answer to that. I do think they use it really well when it is used in the movie. Specifically, again, that image of him tying his son's sword to his hand is like going to be burned in my brain for a long time.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, super effective, like a super effective choice.
I think the layer, like it adds an even darker layer of Macbeth's character, where it's like the thing that started him on this path was the death of his son, and then he goes out of his way to kill children multiple times.
Yes,
like
okay, that's a great point for sure. That's a really good point, and I do think. Again, we're talking about choices. I do think they use the choice. It's not superfluous. Like it is exactly in this for a reason.
Yeah.
And I do really appreciate that.
Yeah,
I think
his
that's
son
great.
handing him the dagger, like I thought was like fascinating and chilling.
Yes, I fully agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. It's a good choice, and I am going to be curious. I want to look into it to see if that's used other places or if that kind of started there.
Yeah.
Because it does
this shit's been adapted so many billions of times. Yeah. There's no way it hadn't been done before 2015. But at the same time, like I don't know if it's been done in film before.
Yeah, and again, the thing that I think is most interesting about it is that this Macbeth is more human. It's more humanized. It's more like characters are reacting as a human would react. Macbeth's descent into madness is portrayed much more earnestly. I guess maybe isn't the exact right word, but. So I think adding that son, adding that element, adding that extra layer of tragedy really works. It's a good choice for what the movie's doing, for how the movie wants to play Macbeth as a character.
Yeah,
I think that's a good choice.
Yeah,
so it's interesting. Yeah.
Any other thoughts on the 2015?
No, I like it. I think it's good. I think it's a cool movie.
Yeah.
Specifically, the filmmaking is what I really gravitated towards. Like it's like you said, just absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
I wish I hadn't watched it where I had watched, or maybe my internet was. I watched it on Hoopla, which is a library streaming service. Which get Hoopla or I don't have access to Canopy where I'm at. My library doesn't have. They have Hoopla. Hoopla just streams in like a little bit lower quality, which kind of blows. But get Canopy or get Hoopla. Those are great services. They're free if you have a library card. So I watched it on there. So I do want to go back and like watch the battle scene or something in like full HD because it's even in slightly lesser quality, it's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous movie.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And then now on to the tragedy of Macbeth.
Another absolutely gorgeous movie.
Yeah, in the most polar opposite way.
Yes. To start this one, I just want to throw out. It's like, remember when they cast the Little Mermaid live action movie? I haven't seen this movie, and everyone was mad that Ariel was black.
Yeah.
And then when they did Snow White, and everyone was mad Rachel Zegler wasn't fully white.
Yeah.
Wasn't just this pale white human being. She's just a person.
Yeah.
This movie is like the proof that does not matter at all. You know what I mean? Like
nobody's doing Scottish accents except for the people who are. I mean, like, yeah. I don't even know if there are any actual Scottish people in this movie. There's some Irish folks, and there's English.
Is Brendan Gleeson?
He's Irish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
but I think this proves the point of like the quote unquote colorblind casting thing. It's like, I don't know if that's really an accepted term anymore or an accepted idea anymore.
Because it's not completely colorblind. Like the people, the Macduff and his family, like it's just a family of black people. Like,
but like, I think that's so much. It just proves the point that it doesn't get the actor who's best for the role. Because this movie has a lot of people I really like.
Yeah.
Macduff and his family, specifically that guy, I really like him. Every time he pops up in a movie, I'm really excited about it. Corey
Hawkins.
Thank you, Corey Hawkins. I really gravitated towards this movie. I really liked it.
Yeah, I think this movie is an achievement. You know what I mean?
Yes. To kind of start where we started on the other one too, the witches, the weird women are handled so much better in this one.
What is?
Because I like the idea that there's one actor. Yeah, we'll find her name. She's great.
Catherine Hunter.
Catherine Hunter plays essentially all three, but you only really see one, and then it's her dressed as a man.
Yeah, as the old man. Yeah,
it's a great choice. It's so good, and she's so good in the role.
Her voice is genuinely magical, and the fact that she's like doing that contortionist shit, and she is as old as she is.
Yeah, I couldn't stop thinking about that during that scene. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, like. Absolutely incredible.
This movie, and you and I have talked about this recently. We just shot a short film in black and white. You and I are both suckers for black and white. We think it's gorgeous. We're both suckers for the 4:3 aspect ratio, or whatever exactly it is. But that aspect ratio we're suckers for, because this this has one of the best close-ups in all of movies.
Yeah,
and it's that shot where Denzel walks into frame, and over his like left shoulder or whatever is the character behind him, but it's still like a hard close-up on Denzel, and it's just like, man, this is a movie. Like, man, really good.
You can like it's we could I want to get into the Coens shit with this one, just because like seeing who like really where the lines are drawn in terms of who did what in that relationship between Joel and Ethan is absolutely fascinating. Look, we knew Ethan was more of the writer and Joel was more of the director. We knew that, but the absolute wild abandon with which this man is absolutely going ham on the track. Like you can tell like where his like love and appreciation for things like, the Seventh Seal and like like it's so like German expressionist, like I absolutely love the blacks and whites and grays that he is the colors on that palette that he is playing with, because it is so front to back gorgeous and yet is so simple. It is so simple.
Feels so old Hollywood.
Yeah.
In the coolest ways. Like, and then at times it doesn't. It chooses very specific moments to go a bit more modern in great ways, in ways that I think are brilliant. Specifically like that end conflict, the last fight. The last moment, it really chooses to be like a movie, like a modern movie in a way that I think is amazing. It really emphasizes the point. Yes, this movie is the Guillermo del Toro thing where he talks about like whenever people compliment, the cinematography, he always is like, oh, the lighting is great. Whenever somebody compliments the lighting, he goes, the costume design is great.
Yeah.
Whenever somebody and he goes down that line. This movie epitomizes that so well to me. Yeah. Where it's like they use every tiny little ounce they can pull out of the lighting, every tiny little ounce they can pull out of the really surreal sets. Great. It's genuinely a group of people who came together to make one unified thing, and they really did it.
I think the choice of color, the choice of set design, costume design, where it is so simple. Yeah. It like only like I would not describe the story of Macbeth as like incredibly deep. You know what I mean? Like again, we're it's melodrama. We're playing in
broad strokes. Yeah, big ideas.
It's black and white. You know what I mean? Like it is black and white, and I think that is it. It really plays with that idea, like from front to back. And it is playing the story incredibly straight. Like, it is not playing with the structure hardly at all, if at all. It changes almost nothing about like the actual script other than what I said earlier, like changes some verb tensing here and there in order to like for their age to make a little bit more sense. But you know, like the way that Joel's reading of the script is very accurate to most common readings of the script, but at the same time, like, is able to do such interesting things with the staging, with the cinematography, with the world that he creates. I think is just an absolutely fascinating take. I mean, it feels like it is so much more theatrical to quote the article there. It is much more theatrical. It is so proscenium in the way that like it looks, you are looking through the curtains at this stage. It literally opens and closes on the sound of a light, like a light switch turning on and then turning off. I just absolutely
cool.
Chills thinking about it.
Yeah. Well, and its use of like smoke too is really cool. Like specifically in that first scene with the weird women.
Yeah.
Where they like, they appear. Oh, that shot of one of them, and then the other two are in the shot. So good, like incredible. All of those things, and also just look. If you can cast Denzel Washington, you should cast Denzel Washington. If you can cast Frances McDormand, you should cast Frances McDormand. Like, again, he plays it much more traditionally to how I've seen Macbeth played in exactly not a bad way, in a really great way.
Just by the fact that he's speaking in an American accent and like, look, he's not reinventing the characterization by just by being Denzel, by older Denzel. It completely recontextualizes so much of that character and so many of those choices.
It's like I've talked about Denzel as kind of being one of those actors. He's like energy based. Like everything he does has an energy to it, has a feel to it, and he's like the best at that ever.
And I think Frances McDormand is a perfect example of that on the female spectrum. On that side of it, I think she is also so energy propellant. You know what I mean? Like,
they make a great pair. Their scenes together are really great.
Yeah.
But the lighting in this, how they really play with shadow, and like specifically the scene where the friend, I can never remember his name, is talking to his son, and he hands him his sword, and he's like, "Get behind me!" And he's like, "Who goes there?" And he's like, "A friend." And it's like he's bathed in shadows, and you can't really see his face. And
Banquo and Fleance.
Yeah, it's like those moments are so well designed because they feel so treacherous, even though nothing treacherous necessarily happens. Like, it's really telegraphing in, like exactly you said, in a very theatrical way. What's going on? And the blocking and staging is very theater and technical, and it's a really good, again, old Hollywood theater. Like, they really married those two ideas, because those two ideas have always been married. Like, people forget at the beginning of movies, the reason staging was better back when movies started is because people from the stage were doing it. Like, they like knew how to operate that, and all of a sudden they got all this liberty to go like, wait, I can put a camera right next to them. And it was just like a plus. So it's like, that's a good and bad thing depending on who you are in the movie you're making. But this one really, like, in a way that the other one does have, like I kind of said earlier, like the grounded world with the surrealist lens. This one grabs you by the throat from the very beginning of like, this movie's going to be gorgeous. This movie's going to have a bunch of people delivering lines with the voices of all time. And that kind of thing. So it's good stuff.
Like, I think from like a filmmaking perspective, I think it does a lot less to like really put you in the head of Macbeth. Like I said, when I'm talking about the 2015 version, it does a lot less to do that. That being said, like the lines themselves, the way the performance does so much to get that. I think it's a lot less sympathetic to Macbeth, frankly. Like, I think Macbeth is a lot less sympathetic in the tragedy of Macbeth than it is in the 2015 one. but it also
Like
because it even starts on such a less sympathetic note of he has he's a victor and he was given this thing and like he seemingly has a good relationship with the king and like it seems so much more his relationship with Lady Macbeth seems a lot more warm and kind, where in 2015 he kind of starts on a note of melancholy, of anger, of whatever. I think this one is a lot less sympathetic to Macbeth and to Lady Macbeth. I actually
totally agree.
I think it's more sympathetic to Lady Macbeth in the tragedy of Macbeth, to be more clear.
Well, it's like that the end moment is so played on his hubris, on his pride, where he's like picking up the crown, and that's why, because he would have won that fight if he hadn't done that.
Yeah.
And I love that choice. I love that because it's so big. And if you're looking at this in a non-melodrama way, you're like, why would he ever do that? Like, it's so easy for those people who watch movies and go, that gun would be out of ammo. Like that, those people would look at that moment and be like, why wouldn't you just kill the guy? Just stab him and you win and then pick up the crown. It's like, it's not what the story is, man. That's not what the emotion is. We're telegraphing those things in a big melodramatic, surrealist way.
Yeah.
Because I love those last two fights. I think they're really good.
Yeah.
Again, cast Denzel Washington in your movie, because that shot where he gets slashed in the face and just turns and looks back up and then beats the guy is so good. Yeah, throws the blood in his face. Oh my
so
God,
good.
that's so cool.
What a good stage, like what a good fight direction. That's so cool.
Yeah. I've seen that in the blood throw. I've seen in exactly one other movie. So people use that one. It's cool.
It's a good one.
It's a good move.
Yeah.
There's a great there's a Batman. This is a aside. There's a Batman comic where Damian Wayne is like captured and they don't know he's Robin. They just think he's a kid. Mm-hmm. And so whenever all hell breaks loose and he can start actually fighting, he's bleeding and he smears blood on his face to create the Robin mask. And it's the hardest shit I've ever seen.
No kidding.
I was like, "You're 12. What the fuck?" Anyway, but yeah, a good action beat. I like that the first confrontation, he doesn't even have a sword. You know what I mean? Like he's beating the guy with his fists.
Yeah,
it's good. It's good storytelling. This is the tragedy of Macbeth is the one I feel I will revisit more.
Yeah.
I think of the two, it's the one I think I preferred more.
Yeah.
But I also I love when a movie takes just giant swings like this,
I think with a story like this, at this point in where we are in filmmaking and culture, I think like to tell a story that is this tragic melodrama, you kind of have to like take swings with it. Like, I feel like the more grounded you try to play it, the less you're willing to kind of jump on board with it. Like, I have talked a lot, maybe not on the pod, but I've talked a lot about my distaste for Baz Luhrmann. I don't really like basically any of his movies. The one that I like the most is Moulin Rouge, where I feel like the story and the visuals, the way that he likes to tell stories fits so much better with the story than with basically any of his other work.
Yeah. I don't think either of us are necessarily the biggest like maximalist people. Like we don't love maximalist storytelling.
No.
But there is a version of this where you convince me a movie like this is a maximalist movie.
Yeah.
Where what it's choosing to do, it does in the biggest way possible. It just doesn't have the big, loud, crazy camera swinging around. It's like, it's not what you think of as a maximalist movie. And I don't even know that I would consider it one. But if somebody was like, oh, this is like a maximalist movie, I'd be like, I can understand why that would be your take. Like, I can get it. Because it is, like, again, it commits incredibly hard to what it's doing.
I mean, it's so expressionist. It is so...
Exactly. Expressionist is what I would call it.
Right. I mean, it is very much in the lineage of German expressionism.
Have you seen Persona?
No, I have not.
Yeah, that's a... what is his name? Ingmar Bergman movie. Mm-hmm. And it very much an expressionist movie. This movie, they reminded me quite a bit. But I think the other movies you cited earlier, kind of like Seventh Seal, is also an Ingmar Bergman movie.
Yeah.
Those are very much, they definitely influence this in one way or another.
Yeah.
Good movie. Good damn movie.
It's fascinating to see what Joel and Ethan have done since the breakup, because like it's and where the individual like taste is. It's just fascinating because like I haven't. Ethan has made Honey Don't and Drive Away Dolls. I could not remember.
Drive Away Dolls and Honey Don't. Yeah,
I haven't seen Drive Away Dolls. I have seen Honey Don't.
I'm a Drive Away Dolls defender. I actually really liked that movie. And I think Honey Don't is good. It's not necessarily super for me. It's weird.
It's weird and interesting.
Ooh.
And
like it's got maybe the best reaction shot in a movie. Like, ooh.
It's fascinating how different.
Yeah.
What is similar and what is different. In their styles post, and then at the same time, like Joel made this and he hasn't made anything since.
Yeah,
it's weird. It's interesting. It's like he doesn't have anybody writing him scripts.
Yeah, well, it's fascinating that the thing he chose to do after the hiatus or after the breakup is one of the most famous stories ever. Yeah, because he didn't have to worry about the script. You know, not to say he doesn't contribute to the writing. I think he contributes a lot to the writing
for sure.
I just think it is telling that that's what he did. And then Ethan went and made two very specific, like 70s pulp inspired, or mystery movies that seriously they feel like small beat up paperbacks you found at a yard sale. Yeah, like that's what those movies feel like. Yeah, that's a compliment. I think that's really he distilled that in a great way.
That is the point. Like that is his goal for sure.
And they're both super gay. You know what I mean? Like they would, and I think that's also very interesting. Yeah. I want them to make another movie together so bad, but also like I am interested in this breakup because other sibling team ups. You know, the Wachowski sisters. I'm trying to think of the last movie they made together because Lana or Lily, who didn't make the newest Matrix?
I think it was Lily. I think Lana. I could be wrong about that. Do not quote me on it.
She was like one of the two of them was like, I don't want to do this, and the other one's like, well, they're going to do it without us, so I might as well make it. And I respect both of those opinions. Like, and and that's not necessarily a breakup.
Lana
so much as
directed it. Lily. Fascinating. Let me make sure I'm getting this correctly. Based on okay. So I saw Story by Lily, but it's because it's based off of
the Matrix
characters, from the Matrix. So, it's fascinating how we've had a few of those of like famous combinations breaking up or
super famously right now because they both have movies that are apparently very good coming out are the Safdies. And I think that's interesting, like really interesting, because I've heard The Smashing Machine is great. Yeah. And I have not heard a ton about Marty Supreme, but I'm assuming it will also be a very good movie. Yeah. So they're different in that way, where it's like, look, I am a huge Safdie Brothers fan, but I'm a huge specifically Benny Safdie. Like, I love that dude. Yeah. I loved The Curse. I loved and hated The Curse, which Josh was still attached to. Yeah. But it wasn't like his project, you know? Yeah. That breakup is super interesting to me too, where I'm like, I want to look into it and be like, why did y'all choose to do this? Or did you just both want to make very different movies for a little while, and then you'll come back together and make another anxiety-inducing nightmare hellscape for us to watch? So, the movies.
Yeah, I think it's interesting how different the Coens movies feel. Like they're just polar opposites. Like, like again, there's some similarities in framing and camera work to a certain degree,
sensibility, which again, the Safdies both went off and made sports movies. Yeah, which is like okay, it was so weird. Like, anyway, that's the Coens are just strange. It's just a strange decision because they were the Coen brothers, one of the most legendary duos in all of cinema.
And like to do it, it's like it's not like they did it 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like after they'd made hit after hit after hit, and then or not hit after critical hit after critical hit after critical hit. it's fascinating to know that they went off so late in their career.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
in clearly, I say clearly, it feels like there's no real like heavy turmoil about it. You know, like they haven't been like, we're not making movies together anymore. There's not been that story break.
I can't remember. I should have researched a tiny bit before this, but
as far as I'm aware, neither of them have been like, we'll never do it again. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But maybe they just got to a point where they're like, I want to do something different.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what the Safdie's brothers feels like to me, where although this is the dumb like Hollywood, Benny Safdie thanked everyone but Josh Safdie in the Smashing Machine premiere at TIFF or whatever, when it won at TIFF or whatever it happened. And people noted that pretty quickly. Again, not reading into that, but that is something that did happen.
Yeah.
So if that means something, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is the Coen brothers thing is interesting. I will be fascinated to see what both of them do this, specifically Ethan.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of great writers that would match his sensibility really well.
Joel.
And yes, Joel. Sorry, so sorry. Specifically Joel. What Joel does next?
Yeah.
Oh, the Coen brothers. I've always just referred to them as the Coen brothers.
They're the Coen brothers. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm very specifically interested what he'll do next, because he hasn't done a second one, you know, and Ethan's have been so specifically not connected, but they both star Margaret Qualley, and they both are very pulpy, and they're both very mystery based. It's fascinating that he went off and made two similar movies, and Joel is like, I made one based on a very famous thing, and have not made another. Maybe he's just waiting for Ethan to get it out of his system and then come back and they can hang out again.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, like he can get his writer back.
Anyway. So yeah, Macbeth's. Any overall thoughts of between the two movies? Lessons, anything like that?
Yeah, I look. My lesson is cast Denzel Washington when you can cast Denzel Washington.
Yeah,
for sure. But also choices. Again, just study. This is a great thing to study. Yeah. If you're adapting something that's been adapted a bunch, like a Shakespeare or anything, or the 15th Spider-Man adaptation or whatever, study these movies, because cinema is just about choices. It's just about ideas and how you want to frame things.
Yeah.
I think this is a great, this should be taught in film schools. There should be a film school course, not full course, but a film school module on movies like this, like highly different adaptations of the same source material. Like that should be something you teach, because there's a million things you can pull from it.
Yeah.
And that's definitely my lesson. I think that's the best part of watching both of these for me, was like looking at the different things they did.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I think the thing that I think is particularly fascinating about the 2015 one is what they add and what they cut. Where you know, from a scripting level, like what it gets added and what gets cut is very, very interesting in the decisions that get made there. And then for the tragedy of Macbeth, just like what you said, like taking choices, just like what can I do that hasn't been done for this story that's been done dozens of times? What different way can I go with it? Like, what does this remind me of? Where can I draw out the most material that hasn't been drawn out 30 other times?
Hello, it's just me. Shane's internet went out completely and we could not get it back up, so there's no game this week, but I will be throwing out some recommendations. I think Throne of Blood is a good recommendation if you want to continue on the Macbeth train. I think the comic book by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips called Reckless is very good, especially if you liked Honey Don't and Drive Away Dolls. They're very like 70s pulp inspired. Very good. You should check that out. I also am going to recommend the Naruto, the manga. I started getting this. My friend really wants to get into collecting these and reading them, but they're expensive over time. So I told him, I was like, look, I'll do it with you. We'll turn it into a friend thing. We'll turn it into a bonding thing. So I've started reading Naruto the manga. I've seen the entire anime. It's like my favorite thing ever. So now I have this, and I'm going to start reading this, and do things with your friends, guys. Do collecting things with your friends. Do book club with your friends. Do movie club with your friends. Whatever it is, I highly recommend it. It's very nice. It's very helpful. Anyway, so we had a great episode talking about Macbeth and the tragedy of Macbeth, and then you have a few recommendations now and all the other movies we sprinkled in throughout this. So you should go watch and read and do all of those things. Or don't. I don't know. live your life.